Here we are with the rebuild of probably the worst team in the league, the Houston Texans, a team that is just, I mean, sure, they have a few, bright spots, but overall, as a whole, is just not in a good spot. Of course, their draft picks, not terrible, right? They got some stuff to work with going down the line here, especially when we, force the losses that we are going to force. There's a chance that they grab a franchise quarterback and, a franchise, rusher of some sort, or, defensive lineman, that can get to the quarterback, stop the run, whatever, they're going to be aiming for, maybe a wide receiver, whatever that is. So they're not in the worst spot there, but as far as talent on the roster now goes, man, they are struggling. Of course, we all know about the benching of Davis Mills. That's going to be fun. I'm going to keep Davis Mills as the starter for the moment, though, because, of course, he played the majority of the season, obviously. Looking at, their bright spots, Tunsil's obviously been great. Pierce has been great. Cooks has been good enough, but, I mean, how good can you really be when, your quarterbacks are who they are? Of course, the other receivers, Nico Collins hasn't been terrible, but for the most part, it's not a great unit. Obviously, offensive line, I think Titus Howard's been playing all right, but Kenyon Green has not. He has struggled. Of course, it's not a good sign when your best addition is, Amari Rodgers, who's just absolutely awful. Defensively, they've had a little bit of bursts from different position groups, but it's never really like a cohesive unit. Obviously, Hughes has been decent. Some of the corners been decent. That's kind of it, though. That's kind of really where it kind of ends. This is probably by far the worst linebacking group in the league, and it's a disaster, especially from a Madden standpoint. I mean, you're looking at having to replace the free safety, all the linebackers, probably the entire D-line, 2 corners more than likely, and then we're talking about offensively, quarterback, 3 linemen, potentially a tight end, 2 wide receivers. I mean, this is probably tougher than an AI fantasy draft, to be honest, which of course we kind of recently did, so maybe check it out. And while you're there, if you scroll past that subscribe button and it says, subscribe, that means you're not subscribed, which means you're a crazy person. What are you doing? Maybe click it. Maybe leave a like. I don't know. Or don't do those things. It is what it is. All right, $76 million. We have some re-signings, and I'm looking at these guys, and I'm thinking, I feel like we'll be fine without them. I don't know. Something's telling me we'll be okay. We don't really need any, not even a single name. Maybe Desmond, but I don't know. All right, it's pretty safe to say that we're going to have a choice at any player we want in the draft, as we are 1-16. I did not see how the Browns finished, but this is how it went for us. The tie game, I think I just gave us a forced loss because we definitely would not have deserved to win it, and obviously it can be proven here, even if we would have gotten the forced win, still would have the #1 pick. The Browns, how did they finish out? Oh, come on, dude. I suppose we'd probably prefer to have them beat us just to guarantee that #1 overall spot, whereas this pick should still be in the top 15 range, I imagine. Browns went 8-9, so yeah, just on the edge of top 15. Let's take a look at how the season finished out for the team. Allen doesn't seem like he was better, but once again, I don't really care because we're done with both of them pretty much. Davis Mills, maybe trade him off for a 6th-round pick or something. Dameon Pierce, sim numbers, awful. Very bad numbers. Cooks, really good numbers. Nico Collins, not bad. Brevin, really solid. Philip Dorsett, even decent. Passing numbers aren't terrible here, actually. Blocking for Madden, concerns, not the worst I've ever seen. Kirksey, Christian Harris, and Derek Stingley with over 100 tackles each. Sacks, it'd be pretty hard for Hughes to not pass that in real life since he kind of already has any other numbers. I mean, really, this season, the only positives is potentially Cooks going up in dev, and then, of course, the draft picks. That's literally it. Everything else is just an L. Wait, what? Wait, does that mean I won all the games leading up to week 12? That must have meant that the Buccaneers won, pretty much every single game since, we let the game kind of take over, right? That's holy crap, look! They didn't lose a game! Jesus! It's the Chiefs and the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, which, honestly, I'd almost want to see the Vikings in the Super Bowl more than seeing that again. Of course, the Chiefs win, but wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't really... Whatever, dude. Of course, looking at our dev-ups, if we had any, and Cooks is one of... Oh, I got scammed! I thought Brevin went up, which I thought he was going to. It was a pretty good season for a normal dev, and he didn't. At least Cooks went up in dev, although he still regressed anyways. And that was it for offense. Defense, Christian Harris went up in dev. Somehow Petrie went up in dev, unless he was already superstar, which I don't see how the hell they would have thought of that. Why did he go up in devs? I mean, his tackles weren't that high, were they? 98, I mean, it's I guess, but... Okay, I mean, that's something. I mean, some positives, but... Yeah, it's pretty much just the draft that we're looking forward to. I mean, Steven Nelson goes up in dev, but he also regressed because he's older. So we have about $94 million to work with. I tried to give Desmond King even better than IFR, like a 2-year and like 17 or so. He wouldn't take it. I'm not that petty. I mean, if he wants to stick around for a 1-year 8.5, which he doesn't, I would have done. Screw you, I guess. I really want to land a pass rusher in free agency. I just don't know what kind of talent's going to be there. Wide receiver wouldn't hurt, and pass rusher, which appears to me the best case is like Jamel Dean, who's obviously neither of what we're kind of looking for. Jabril Davenport, I'm not going to spend crazy money on. I mean, this might just be a year where we have mad rollover, right? I mean, there's not really much we can do here. It's a pretty weak class. All right, we put in 5 targets and up. Wait, did we not get them all? Wait, I'm so confused. Wait, I have 3 signings. But where's my targets? Huh? Did I actually pull someone off? Either way, Jamel Dean, a 3-year 55. Not, particularly the price I'd want, but as an 87 overall speed corner, it's fair enough. McCole Hardman, a 4-year 60, a little overpriced as well, but another speed wide receiver. And then Dalvin was a 1-year 9. Just a guy to get us to the next, I wouldn't say level, 1-year 10 actually, math is hard, to get us, to the next season really. Not really able to draft every single position of need, so got to spend a little bit here and there. Where the hell is the rest of my money, though? I'm pretty sure I went for, who else did I go for? I went for the guard, Nate Davis, so he's gone, fair enough. And then I think there was someone else. Who the hell was the other person? I don't know, but we should have a little bit more money. Yeah, we have 52 mil, actually, which is fair enough. Wide receiver, I felt like we could get in the draft, but at the same time, give me someone fast, finally, for this roster, to get down the field a little bit. And I know this roster is on the shorter side in general, but... that's why we're going to try to get some franchise quarterback with the mad accuracy to just fit any ball in anytime, and we'll be cooking. I also should have went for a safety. I didn't realize we had nobody pretty much at free safety. What about Steven Nelson's ratings? Damn, he is regressed hard, and his morale is lost. We also ended up getting Terrell Burgess. He's still young enough, and once again gives us some time to maybe solve that position elsewhere. It was a 2-year 9 or something like that. It wasn't crazy. All right, so pick 1 and 16. With this selection being quarterback, obviously, I thought before the draft was going to start that I wanted Stroud over Bryce Young. I think he's a little more accurate, but I suppose with Bryce in real life being a bit better off script, if you will, and this offensive line, these group of receivers probably requiring that a little bit more, it makes sense to also go Young instead. And with him being a top 5 talent versus Stroud being a round 1 talent, I'm going to end up going with Bryce Young because of that. We're hoping for the best. I would imagine both are going to be really good, so you probably can't go wrong either way. And Bryce Young is the selection. I'm curious to see what else happens. So the Lions had a chance at Stroud, and they go Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson. All right, and then the Bears get Will Anderson. Not that I really care. We're in the opposite conference. The Panthers with the gift of a century. The Lions getting Ringo, actually a pretty good pick, but not after they sold the gift of a century to the Seahawks as well. And Jalen Carter, Brazil to the Chargers. Eagles getting Miles Murphy. The Raiders getting Quentin Johnston. I was thinking if he was there at 16, which I know is a long shot anyways, I was probably going to take him even though we just got Hardman. Another wide receiver, Levis, to the Packers. I would assumingly mean that Rodgers is retired. Bijan Robinson to the Cardinals. They do need some running back help. It's not the worst call in the world. And at 16, I kind of thought I want to trade down no matter what because we have a lot of needs, but I do also want to see who is here before we do that. It's a lot of talent here, man. There's so many good players, but other than Trenton Simpson, I don't know if I have anyone here that I'm willing to take this high. We really could use linebacker, though, so I'm going to try to get to like 25 if I can and hope somehow Trenton's still there. So I think we're going to take this Buccaneers trade. 27 next year and 31 this. What about the Titans, actually? Wait, why does the Titans trade seem better across the board? Let's go to the Titans. We remember them. I don't care if it's interdivisional. I really don't. Especially when it's for a tight end. Like, Levis already went, so, like, you know, that's... Wow. The Vikings. Absolutely killing it. Getting Trenton Simpson. I was going to take him at 25 if he was there, which we obviously now know he is not. I will say Skoronski's a guy I, like, never look at ever, but he does look pretty solid. I mean, Jalen Duncan as well, and Antonio Johnson. Just, I think O-line you can kind of get away with, you know, not as, you don't have to really go as high for offensive linemen. We trade pick 30 and Davis Mills to the Jets for 6 spots. I think that's a pretty fair trade. Good, I'm just going to take Gervon Dexter, whatever. Gervon Dexter, the DT, pick 24. We're going to trade to the Raiders 41 and 105 for pick 33, which is pretty good for us. I don't know what they're going to take here. And I thought maybe there was a chance it was going to be QB, and they do go QB. Man, Antonio Johnson is still there, dude. Screw it, I'm going to take Antonio Johnson. This is a good value pick, I think. Hidden development trait, 91 speed, 92 excel, 91 agility, 21 years old, 6'3". And I think as soon as either Carter or Verse goes, we're going to trade up for the latter. I'd rather have Verse, but at this point, I'm just willing to take whoever. And thank you very much, Green Bay. We trade 65 and 97 for 46. I know you're probably thinking, well, you traded, you got like a mid-4th for 8 spots just a second ago, but 8 spots quite a bit higher, in fairness. So at 14 in the second round, we will be taking Verse, the pass rusher. I think we're maneuvering well here. I think we're doing all right for ourselves. And here he is, Jared Verse. Welcome to the squad. Hidden development trait, 86 speed, 89 excel. The best part of this draft, in my opinion, is the fact that we're also going with players that we normally don't. You know, there's a couple of guys that, you know, we've drafted a few times, but so far, a lot of the guys we drafted are guys that we also just haven't in the past, so it's pretty awesome. I really think we need Justin Jacobs, as our linebacking squad is brutal. At least we'd have some potential there. Don't know if he's going to be hidden, but his potential's good enough, I suppose. All he needs is one breakout. We trade our second next year for their 3rd round this year. The Raiders, of course, it's risky because we were the worst team in the league. I'm hoping, though, that we'll be better than that. We have 3 first-round picks to, feel better about ourselves, even if we are, pretty bad. So at the end of the day, I'm willing to take that risk. I really think we do need a linebacker quite a bit, but O-line's just as bad of a need, and considering we have a franchise quarterback we need to protect, I'm going to go with Jarrett Patterson, the center. Welcome to the squad, buddy. We always miss on him, but didn't miss this time, and at 16, we're pretty much guaranteed someone decent, so we're going to just keep moving on until we get there. Lineman of our choice, or the linebacker in Justin Jacobs, and I think I'm going to go with Jacobs. How fast was he again? 21 years old. Not crazy fast. Pretty athletic, though, for his height. Once again, we need a linebacker. So Justin Jacobs, sadly normal development trait, but 21 years old, plenty of potential. So we trade 105, a 7th this, and a 7th next for 97 from the Cardinals, which we'll be using to take some sort of lineman. Our next pick after this is in the 5th round, though, which is a little concerning, but we still have draft picks for next year. Tight end wouldn't be the worst thing, like Eric Gilbert, but I think we're just going to let Brevin cook up again. We don't really need a tackle, but Freeland probably is a lot better than Bass. If Freeland is still superstar in this class, which I think he is. We had him one other time, and it would be nice to have another superstar, so I'm going to go with superstar. I don't want to, ruin Titus, but Why not play him at guard, I guess? Blake Freeland, get yourself a big tackle. He is still hidden. I'm just saying, there's a chance he's still that guy. And wow, I didn't even think about it, but Titus Howard is 27 now. We trade the Bears a 4th and a 5th next year for 99 this year. I think we're going to take Bass and just finish the offensive line group. Maybe trade off Titus right now for like a 5th maybe. But TJ Bass, hoping he is still hidden, and he is. Offensive line, kind of finished. I don't even want Bozeman or Ioannidis. They just couldn't afford the trade. So Howard, a 5th next and a 7th this for 100 from the Panthers. And I guess we get some depth. I didn't want those guys. I just, they couldn't afford it. So with pick 4 in the 4th round, I think it's going to be Mathis. Wicks wouldn't be the worst call in the world either. But we do have a lot of tight end or wide receiver talent. And I want to land one of these 3 running backs as well because we don't really have a great backup. Eric Gilbert is still pretty interesting. He's 20, right? Ooh, that's tough, dude. He's like a fresh Brevin Jordan. I'm going to go with Mathis, though. I'm going to give Mathis the love he deserves in the game. O'Shawn Mathis, normal development trait. Agility kind of stuff sucks, but speed is decent enough, and we're going to give him a shot, I think, to start. Why not? So we traded 2 7ths for this pick, which, actually, how good was Kenny McIntosh? Oh, he's even faster. Okay, I'm glad I rechecked. Kenny McIntosh, normal development trait, 94 speed, 89 excel. Agility is good, but his change direction is not great. It's a good number 2, and it cost 2 7th-round picks. The Jets probably not too mad about losing that. They had like 5 6th-round picks. It's crazy. All right, overalls, wow. Okay, so 79 overall, 74, 77, 73, 74, 70, 70, 71, 70, 71. Every player was 70-plus overall. And honestly, other than the running back, I think they're all starters as well, which is insane. Bryce Young, the 79 overall, looking juiced. Unbelievable. And I know some people don't like when we look at the dev, but like he's starting no matter what, so who cares? Superstar. But looking at Johnson, kind of a beast. I think we're actually going to keep him at strong safety and move Petrie over to free safety. He's already a superstar anyways, and Johnson's only a star, but that's completely fine. Jalen Petrie to the free safety spot, and DBs are kind of set. We might need another linebacker, maybe some pass rush changes, but overall the defense looks a bit better, I think. We trade a 5th round next year and AJ Cann to the Raiders for Divine Diablo, as our linebacking unit's pretty weak, but if it's going to be weak, at least maybe fill it with players that at least have a chance to develop. I know he's like 25 now, but hoping he's star development trade. Probably should have knew that before, and wow, he's not. But I mean, he's fast and kind of big and good at hitting, I suppose. All right, here we go with a very, very different looking squad. 3 new offensive linemen, a new wide receiver, a new quarterback. And that's just on the offensive side of things. Defensively, a new middle linebacker, 1, a new left out 1, a new strong safety, a new corner, and pretty much an entire new defensive line like we talked about potentially having to do. 2 of them are locks, I'd say, for the future, whereas Tomlinson and Mathis, we'll have to see. And yeah, let's head right on in and see if we can at least make it viable or smart that we traded off some of our own draft picks for this upcoming class. We obviously still have multiple first-round picks, so we'll be fine regardless. But it'd be nice to at least make it close to the playoffs, if not actually in. Ooh, pinpoint accuracy. We actually, we said great. Oh, that is way better than XP, unless the XP was like 50K or something, which I doubt it would have been. But they asked us what we thought of the rookie, what we expected, and we said great performance. He got it, so we'll take it. And that's +4 to deep. Could it be Mathis might actually be a god in one of these rebuilds? Star development trade, 10K XP. All right, $133 million, and to my knowledge, just Laramie Tunsil, really, that needs to be re-signed, and he's been great for this team. Can't really hate the trade, as he's been really solid, and obviously they've needed more than just a tackle, so maybe in that case, but they've gotten their value out of the trade, I'd argue. Dalvin Tomlinson, at 29, he's not looking terrible. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, even if it became like a Burgess situation where you're not even going to start him next year. It's not the worst, but at the same time, $10 million, you could probably get someone just as good, in free agency anyways. Awesome that Malik Collins is going to be gone because he's actually got a huge cap pen this season. But yeah, we're going to have a ton of money and a young squad going forward. So we had an okay season. If we win, we might be in. And we lost a bunch of games at the end of the year and missed the playoffs, sadly. Obviously, it'd be nice to see what our actual season ended up as. But 8 wins after starting with 1 is not terrible. Of course, we still have a decent draft pick again. And yeah, finished really weak. I mean, if we would have won even 2 of those last games, hell, even maybe 1 of those last games, decent chance we would have been in the playoffs. See who the worst performing team was here that made the playoffs in the AFC. The Ravens at 9-8, it appears, but that could have been a division win. It wasn't. So 9-8 would have been good enough to make it. Win 1, guaranteed in if you won 2. Sadly, didn't. Let's take a look at the numbers though for the team. Bryce Young, really good yards, solid touchdowns. Picks are a little high, but there'd be a lot of promise and a lot of hype in Houston if this is the kind of season they could get out of a quarterback. Obviously, Pierce, not terrible either. Way better yards per carry. Touchdowns are about the same, but that yards per carry is way better, which is like we said, which is nice. Cooks could be an X factor. Hardman could be a superstar. Nico could be a star. Brevin wasn't star before, so I can't imagine that's good enough to get him to star. Blocking, not bad. Even Freeland, the youngster, pretty good stuff. Justin Jacobs, most tackles, but pretty weak seasons anyways. Looking at the defense, 8 sacks for Mathis, 6 for Verse, 5.5 for Harris. And were they blitzing the hell out of him or something? I might have been in the wrong scheme again. Fairburn, 11 for 17 with 1 block. I did change the scheme, though, because at first I had it on a 3-4, and then I changed it back. But either way, we should have at least finished number 1 for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which I'm hoping. And we didn't. The interceptions, I can't imagine Addison was good at. Wow, that's a big L. But Jacobs with a dev up, which is nice. And I imagine that's probably going to be it, which it was. Let's take a look at Jordan Addison. Maybe he actually did just have a really good year, but I would imagine it's because of the interceptions we threw. And where is he? He had to have a ton of touchdowns. Really? I get it, right? Picks, it's kind of sucky. Don't want to throw picks, but yeah, there's no way that he wins best rookie with that season. That is super mid, especially when you look at the fact that this is the Houston Texans having a quarterback duo he just did. The Jets end up winning the Super Bowl over the Packers. What kind of dev-ups did we have, if any? And maybe even Bryce still did not. No dev-ups for anyone. Really? Not even Hardman? Not even Brooks? Cooks? Okay, and then on the defensive side of things, the only dev up, actually Diablo went up in dev as well, but wait, did he regress? How old is he? Oh, to be fair, we moved him at left out, so he probably went from 75 to 74, or maybe he had a morale boost. I don't know, morale boost. But Jacobs goes to star, which is absolutely massive for us. And I thought maybe would have seen a dev up from Christian Harris, but we didn't. But that was pretty much it. The whole D-line is still star dev, though. Would have been nice to see a corner dev up or something, because Stingley is off to a pretty slow start in his career. 23 years old only, thankfully, but 82 overall after 2 full seasons. Not the greatest of work. As much as I thought Dalvin was decent, with the kind of money we have, you have to imagine we can afford, like, a big boy name at DT, right? I would imagine. We're at least about to find out, and if not, we can just bring him back on a little bit more expensive of a deal if that's what we want to do. But I think the first thing we need to do is see what we actually need. And even though I think Brevin Jordan's not that bad, it could be argued that we could use a new tight end, right? He's 24, but in general, I think we can use a new tight end. Nothing's guaranteed, though, so if there's nothing great, we're not going to go for tight end. But tight end, wide receiver wouldn't hurt, but I think I'm fine with that. O-line, I think, is perfectly fine. And then defensively, we need at least one DT. A linebacker definitely would not hurt. Like I said, with a bunch of money and a quarterback on a rookie deal, we're in a good spot. Let's see. Nick Bosa. Jesus. Rashawn Gary. Come on. Give us a position we need, brother. We need a middle linebacker. Or a linebacker, so Logan Wilson could be an option. I really don't want to pull the Ed Oliver route, but, we have money and nobody to pay. So I think we're going to pay him that very kind of low deal. I'm going to offer him like a 3 or 40. I'm going to make sure he's our player. I don't really care, to be honest, at this point. 26 years old. He's not like crazy great, but he's definitely good enough and a huge upgrade to our very vacant position right now. And, of course, we'd be stealing him from a division rival on top of it. So, let's see what we got. We ended up getting all three. A 2-year $37 million for Logan Wilson, a 3-year $50 for Ed Oliver, and then a 4-year $8 for Braden Mann, which I think would mean that, what do we need? Nothing? Potentially? Like, I mean, obviously, be looking for future stuff. Tight end wouldn't hurt. But yeah, maybe a high draft pick tight end if there's one that's there. Maybe wide receiver, like we said. But overall, we're in a pretty good spot. Maybe didn't want to pay, Ed Oliver that much, but he is a superstar, thankfully. And, he's a bit raw, I will admit. But, yeah, I mean, I guess he's a proven talent in the game for some reason, so it is what it is. So, looking to potentially trade up for a tight end, believe it or not. There's a 6'4", very fast tight end. There's another one that's 6'3" later on, but I imagine later on the chances of them being a higher dev is a little lower. I mean, you're looking at the teams here that need tight end. The Rams are probably up there. Oh, wow, the Rams need a damn tight end. I really don't want to trade up to the freaking Seahawks, but I think I need to. They have a 60 overall tight end for the Rams, and maybe we just tell Seattle, hey, we're going tight end. The team behind you, they're kind of in their division, and, he's kind of a mismatch. Do you really want him to be in the division? Yeah, I'm just saying, a third next year probably won't cut it. Third and a fourth next year? Okay, fair enough. So we move up 6 spots from 14 to 8 with a third and a fourth round pick, utilizing pick 8 to grab this tight end and hoping for the best. Mr. Connor Gales, of course, 21 years old, 6'4", 243, a deep route, a catch in traffic. Catching's a little questionable, but very fast, elite speed, elite jumping, elite change of direction, great excel, good agility. I think he's worth the risk, and we're going to be grabbing him. He is hidden development trait, which is all you really could ask for. 89 speed, 89 excel. Change direction's actually pretty good. Jumping's pretty decent. He looks like a pretty good pick. So we traded back down to 21. We had 2 wide receivers, one that was 6'5", but he was a little bit slower. And then you have this guy who has really, really good catching for catch in traffic and spec, which are kind of the toughest ones to develop. A B release, a C medium route running. He's a little raw, but we don't really have anything else to draft. And, all of our wide receivers are kind of small, Nico Collins being the exception, but he needs a contract. So I'm going to take a shot on Aaron Armstead and hoping for the best. Hidden development trait gives me, I don't even know, like bigger Keenan vibes maybe? I don't know, like smaller Mike Williams vibes? I'm not sure, but looks decent. The Niners are going to give us 54 this year and 53 next year for pick 31, is it? 29? I'm cool with that. We don't really have a whole lot going on in this class remaining anyways, and not a whole lot of needs, so getting ourselves some more talent for next year. May even take the other tight end as well if he's there, because it's not like crazy high, right? A 3 to 4. Speaking of 3 to 4, did we just take Adrian White early, even though we don't really need him? He looks really solid, so why not? Hidden development trait, 90, strength, 21 years old. Looks pretty good. We traded up. We're going to grab Tremaine Medlock, and, I'm glad we got the other guy, because this man is normal. And with our last remaining pick in the 5th round, I believe it's the 5th round, 4th round, one of the two. Surprisingly, I have a fast linebacker still here, so I'm going to grab him, AJ Greenwood, and hidden development trait. That's a super seal. Did you see his change of direction as well? 81. There's also a DT that I missed. He's like a nose tackle. Looked super strong, like 40-some reps. B, I think, block shed. Gotta take a look at him. But let's see what we ended up with overall-wise and potential future-wise. So 75, 70. Wow, okay, so we got some good overalls. We'll say the tight end's normal, but he is 76. Guard 75 or 74. Gale's 75 overall. Wonder what that dev looks like. 89 speed. He's already like the same catching and whatnot as Brevin, yet he's younger, faster, about the same size, and then maybe, question mark, better dev? Maybe. He's not. But still, yeah, the other things that we mentioned. Wow, these numbers are not looking great. I guess he's wearing 82. Let's take a look at that wide receiver. 77 overall, Aaron Armstead. I think he's going to be our new number 2 with our Hardman play number 3. Spec catch of 96. 85 catching traffic, 80 catching. Release is great. The route running's a little iffy, though. But, wow, okay, so he's kind of talented. He's kind of talented. Let's see what that dev do. Could be a superstar. Just saying. He's not, but just saying. Could have been. And everyone else is, I mean, they're good, but I don't know if anyone of them is going to be playing anytime soon. I want to see the nose tackle, and there he is, 74 overall. Posey, normal development trait, but 99 strength. Damn. What a beast. Obviously, some of these offers are really good, but I think Carter is probably the only kind of fair offer. The other ones are giving us way too much for Divine Diablo, and we don't really need him anymore as we just literally drafted a replacement for him, and Logan Wilson's here for at least 2 more years. We could use some depth at running back. Why not? Brevin Jordan for Davis Price, even though we probably have to pay him this season, but so do they for Brevin. All right, Season 3, roster 87 overall, quarterback 1. Armstead is a 77 overall wide receiver 2 with Hardman at number 3. Cooks, how long will he last? I don't know, but Superstar, it was super clutch. 30 years old now, still going strong. Seems like he's probably going to be traded in real life, but we did turn it around. I'd say now he would like to be here, but Gale's the new tight end 1. He's already the same overall as Brevin was going to be if he would have started this year. Safeties look great, corners look great, D-line. I worry a little bit about Oliver because, once again, he is more of a name than he is a good player in the game at this rate, but either way, looks good enough. This upgrade is going to be juiced as well. Wow, it's awful. That's a very interesting trade offer. Wooden's not being really used by the Ravens. They need wide receiver. I'm going to take some of these youngsters off their hands, get some depth going, and feel good about the future. All right, having an okay season. A little bit of an L as of late, but roster has... I mean, we still don't really need to pay anyone other than Cooks. Although I will say, Cooks is being a sneaky little guy. I really want to pay him more than on a 2-year 30? No longer commitment, no deal. Damn. I feel that. I understand that, but at the same time, I can probably do better. We signed Brandon Cooks to a 3-year, $44 million deal, which, I mean, it's a little risky, but I do like him a lot, and it is what it is. He's stuck it out. I swear if it happens again, dude. It happened again! What is wrong with this team, dude? The choking is unbelievable. 4 straight losses. 4 straight losses there. 4 straight wins. And then 4 straight losses. I didn't change any playbook. Oh my god. I've literally ran the same playbook since season 2. This is unbelievable, dude. Oh my god. I get we're still on the come up, but I might have to change the playbook again. I went with Cincinnati since year 2. I felt like, with the talent on the roster, it makes a lot of sense, and Gale's doing pretty well, considering Hardman not so great. O-line worse that it's been. Sack totals looks really trash with the right scheme on this time, and Oliver at least played well, but yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the team, but it might just be the fact that, once again, like we've had speculations of in the past, that it's because we're the Texans, and the game's like, well, the Texans aren't good, so their odds of doing well are bad. Let's make their odds of winning in Sim atrocious. Of course, Armstead, Offensive Rookie of the Year, wide receivers just winning that award left and right over quarterbacks. Should be a superstar, maybe an X Factor, I don't know, but at least superstar. Let's head to the Super Bowl, see who wins it. Sure as hell ain't going to be us, because we're not even in the damn playoffs for the 3rd straight season now. It is the Chiefs for the billionth time going against the Falcons, with the Chiefs winning. Who would have thought? All right, some pretty nice dev-ups, actually, as the tight end, the rookie tight end, becomes a superstar in his very first season on the team, which is beautiful. And then, obviously, same as Armstead, first season on the team, superstar as well. Very good decision. It seems to have started him, as he's now an 82 overall superstar, like we just talked about, and offense is looking kind of dynamic. Defensively, though, not a single dev-up. Not even at Oliver, who had like 10.5 sacks. Not unexpected. Not the worst thing in the world. I will say Christian Harris might be benched, I will say. Oh, is it because they're building him as a pass rusher? No shot, dude. I think Greenwood is going to be the guy for us next season as a starter. Maybe should have even started him this year, perhaps. But a bit disappointing as, once again, we have a team that is solid and yet still can't break the mold of, non-playoff teams, Texans, sadly. We did get Cooks back on that re-sign. Was it a bad decision, though, as the regression's already hit? I want to see what his overall is. Obviously, we have 3 more years, and the fact that he could be already regressing kind of hard is a little scary, but like I said, I felt like we had to take the risk. He's an 88 overall, which is the same overall we re-signed him at. What did he actually lose? Was it nothing? Oh, don't tell me that they haven't done the regressions yet. Huh, did he just, not regress at all? I mean, we'll take it. Definitely take it, but it's a little surprising. As far as what we need, though, I mean, anything? I don't know. I really don't think we do. Linebacker wouldn't hurt. Defensive tackle maybe for the future, I suppose. But other than that, I mean, I just think it's a good team, and we're getting really unlucky. I might have to put on one of the cheese playbooks because for whatever reason, we're not good enough with the Bengals playbooks, even though I seen Burrow killing it. All right, 100 and pretty much 30 mil to spend in free agency. Trey Smith, a 3-year 41 is not terrible. We need to replace Kenyon Green, and he isn't really that great. The price for him may even be similar. If Trey wants to join us on a 3-year 50, I'd be down. Kenyon wasn't bad for us, but if we have to pay both of them, I'd rather have the superstar. Although, if you could see here, it looks like that is probably not going to happen. And looking at other players, you have Devontae Smith. I mean, it really just seems like we're kind of forced to save money again. Free agency's pretty weak. We do have a couple of guys you have to pay going forward, but in general, it's just not worth the money to go for a free agent. And we have a ton of talent as is that is young. Maybe you trade for a target that needs a contract on a team that can't afford it, perhaps, but outside of that, I don't think free agency is worth it unless we want to go crazy for Trey. I get the the different tags and motivations. It's a cool little feature, but it needs to be tuned. It 100% needs to be tuned. Trey Smith decided to go with KC on a 3-year, 41, maybe $42 million deal, while he passed up on our offer of a 3-year 60. I don't care if you're going from the Chiefs to literally the worst team of all time. You're taking that 3-year 60 and you're running with it. I don't care who it is. I just don't understand how that makes any sense that he would choose a 3-year 42 instead of a 3-year 60. It's not even close. If it's a 3-year 42 versus a 3-year 48, 3-year 50 even maybe there's a chance he decides to stay. He's not leaving $18 million on the table for the same years. He's just not. He just simply isn't. And it's not like we are the worst team in the world. We have shown that we're on the come up for sure, and maybe a guy like him would be enough to put us over the edge. A 6 superstar guard is pretty insane to have, right? So I don't know, dude. They got to fix that. That is really bad. Money needs to play more of a factor. No matter how they want to spew it, no matter how they want to twist it and spin it, money is the number one motivator. And I don't care. You can point to any player in the league, and you can't prove me wrong. You can't, because if it was the case, then every team, there would be one team with a super team that literally has all of the best young players on minimum deals. It just doesn't exist. Never will. So make this make sense, EA. Please. Please make this make sense. Please make this make sense, EA. Why are you so bad? Why do you do what you do? I want to keep Varus because he's younger, and him and Mathis have played similarly, but please, EA, could you give me explanation? I'd appreciate it. They actually want my players less than just straight up draft picks. I don't understand that. Do we end up trading if pick 14 this year, 26 third and 5th round picks for Brian Burns, who is now a Houston Texan? He needs a contract the following year, so it's not like, we just traded for a guy that was recently paid up. So that's fair enough. We can afford him, obviously. And now we try to fleece the Panthers. We end up trading Kenyon Green and O'Shawn Mathis to the Panthers for 25, which I think is easily fair. They get themselves a top-tier guard and a solid-looking defensive end that really just needs more time to develop. I think we have that time, but at the same time, I don't want to have that time. I think we are ready to win now, and we're only getting better. look at the squad. I think the time is now to try and seize the next few seasons. Jared Verse on top of it maybe improves as a right end. Maybe the switch is what he needs. I don't know. Also, I didn't know, but Adrian White is actually a superstar. I was just going to trade off Kenyon because he needed a contract. He was good, but don't really need to worry about that. The only thing that sucks about these rookies is that their pass block, or their power blocking is so bad. It's really unfortunate, but what can you do? He's still a superstar. He's got plenty of potential. We decided to add some depth as we add Eric Stokes to the squad. He's going to be our number 3 cornerback, a 2-year, $12, perfectly fair contract, and a super steal. Our depth is getting nice, just saying. So we have pick 25 from that trade, and I'm going to be honest with you, I like this Luke Keys guy because he's a bigger guy, but he has some athleticism, and he has got an A power move. We'll say that C block shed kind of makes me think maybe he's not the best option at DT, but it gives us 2 options, right? Like if Verse isn't the guy and we need to replace him, this could be the guy, or he could play DT if one of the DTs we have isn't the guy. So Luke Keys, going to be our choice. He's hidden. He's really fast for his size. It's a win, I think. And I'm debating on what I want to do here because this corner looks really good. Garrison Patterson, very fast, great zone coverage, decent everything else. And then you have Dale. I think you could use both, really. You know, once again, looking kind of into the future a little bit. As much as Petrie developed quickly in a way, superstar, he is only an 83 overall, and he's 26, and he needs a contract. So it's kind of questionable. I think if I'm going to bet on one, I'd go Garrison Patterson, even though he's a little bit on the smaller side. Maybe need corner a little bit more down the line anyways, but it is what it is. Garrison Patterson, hoping for the best, and normal development trade, unfortunately. Dale's still there. Do I take him as well? I don't know. Also did scout Dave Barrymore, not Dave Barrymore, just Dave Barry. He's okay, but once again, the power blocking from an interior blocker being trash is super saddening. I think we're just going to take best available pick again, and that's going to be Evan Dale. We got both of them, and both of them are normal. Damn it! All right, we're down to 3 linemen and a defensive tackle. Lennon looks great. He's the guy I scouted the most, so Mr. Jeremy Lennon, welcome to the squad. Hidden, thank you. Back on the track for hidden development traits. Kind of built like a pure center, but it is what it is. Man, do we really need that nose tackle? The last nose tackle we've seen, he was a good overall, but he was normal development trait as well. Don't know if we really need a DT. If he's 21, I'll go for him. If he's not, I think I'm going to pass. Kevin Bates, 22. I still want him, though. I know what I said, but 44 bench press reps, that's probably not going to be 99 strength. Not that it really matters, but A tackle, B awareness. Pretty much everything's a C, though, so, like, what are you really getting out of that? If it isn't too crazy to trade up, we'll try to. If not, though, I'm not going to worry about it. They took Mechie in a 6 next, so welcome to the team, Mr. Big Guy. Sorry, Mechie, never had a chance, but, you know, best of luck to you on the Eagles, I suppose. Kevin Bates, please be good. And we got ourselves a hidden one. 98 strength, 75 excel. That speed is atrocious, though. That is one of the more fun things of this Madden, though, is the different style of players. You know, there's all those huge nose tackles, and you know, we've got a couple of 6'8", offensive linemen, a couple of 6'8" tight ends here and there. You know, seeing some 6'4" corners every so often. That's been the most fun for me in this Madden, without a doubt. I don't even remember who our fullback is. I'm just going to take Morgan Spearman. Why not? Normal development trait, whatever. All right, let's take a look at the draft recap. I don't even know if we drafted anyone that we're projecting to start, are we? Oh, there's some pretty good overalls in here, actually. I don't think we're projecting to start anyone here. We aren't, but they're still pretty good players, even though, we're not starting any of them. Luke Keys, 76 power move, 72 block shed. Let's take a look what his dev is. I think he's going to play, I guess, right end for now. And he is only star, but, he looks pretty good. Cornerback, obviously, was normal development trait, but let's see how good he was. 78 zone coverage. Do we just put him at safety now? He kind of feels like a pretty good option for free safety. And then the safety, strong safety, very high overall. I guess we'll just keep this guy at the safety spot. 78 zone as well. I'm going to be honest with you. He's a little bit better than I would have thought. Definitely a little bit better. I thought he would have been hidden, but oops, wrong thing. I was going to check his dev, but I forgot he's normal. 22, why not? What else? So Lennon, 76 overall. Power blocking isn't terrible for pass. His run blocking in general is very bad, though. Let's take a look at what his dev is. Could he be one of those superstars? He is not, but still he's a good player. And then we have the DT. I gotta see what that freaking dev is. We've seen one X Factor in the past. I would imagine it's a likely star. I don't think it even matters if he's an X Factor or not anyways, but it would be sick, and he's not. Still pretty cool. Random star development trait rookie. I mean, like I said, it's really not that hard to get to star development trait for some of these positions, and you're kind of losing that free XP once you do get it. So just saying, Tyndall's a free agent. Why the hell not? All right, here's the roster for year 4. Wide receiver. I mean, there's some overalls that could definitely be improved, but I mean, with a guy like Armstead, a guy like Gales, and even Hardman's not too old, I suppose. You could still get a couple of overalls out of a lot of these guys. So that's the plan. Bryce Young's going to be a 90+. O-line looks great, and Pierce, obviously great as well. Defensively, some overalls we'd like to see up as well in general, but Burns is a massive addition. Stingley's 85 overall. Johnson's a future star. Petrie will probably end up re-signing. Logan Wilson, we'll have the debate on if we want to keep him or not, but I mean, it's a good team with every single position in place. It just depends on if those players can develop into stars or not, and if we have to replace them. Hey, Jacobs gets himself 1 of 2 for his camp standout, 10K XP. Hey, a couple of QB breakouts this rebuild, and no success, but this time finally got one. X Factor Bryce. All right, $149 million. Who do we have to re-sign? So Pierce, Jamel Dean, Logan Wilson maybe, Stingley, Petrie. I mean, we got some names, obviously. Let's go with start to finish. Pierce, I think a 5-year 40. Is he down? I could find... You could... Or you could just, re-sign, and we'd all be happier. Let's go with a 2-year 28 for Jamel. Thank you for being a gent. What else do we have? Logan, maybe. Stingley is probably worth the deal. I'm not going to do anything higher than a 5-year, though. So 5-year 65, glad to sign. Still an absolute boatload of money. Let's get Jalen back. He's 26. We're gonna go in 4-year 40. Excited to re-sign. We still have more money. I think Christian Harris is going to be let go, though, he's just not that guy. He took way too long to develop, and, the game kind of developed him as a pass rusher anyways, so we're going to have to let him go, I think, and there's a lot of backups here. Maybe even re-sign that star development trait corner. Where is he? I also would love to keep Logan Wilson, so if he wants to take like a 1-year 16, hey, that's not bad. He's kind of a cool dude. A lot of defenders we paid, though, which is a little worrisome. Oh, man, another kind of iffy season. But one that will result in a playoff berth. Beating the Jaguars, who had the division locked. Maybe they didn't have any better seeding chance, so they just bench. I don't know what it is, but 9-8, good enough to make the playoffs. I wonder if the Colts also made it, but... Take a look at Bryce, 9-8, dude. Take a look at Bryce Young, 4,700 yards, 62 touchdowns, 62 yards, 37 touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a 70% completion percentage rate. Let's take a look at Bryce's last season. The picks are way down compared to normal, and we take that. All right, we take that. The percentage is higher than ever. Rushing, Dameon Pierce was solid. Receiving, Armstead was a god. Cooks was okay. Gales was solid. And then Hardman was useless. Pierce, good receiving numbers. Blocking, Freeland was pretty bad, but everyone else was okay. Sack totals, Burns joins the squad, gets 15. Verse, only 3.5, the trash can. Ed Oliver with 9.5. Dexter with 3. Wow. Okay, that's pretty disappointing. I gave Elliott a 2-year 7.8 because he... played really well. McIntosh with a kick return touchdown. I want to see Mathis. I want to see Mathis. If he had a good year. Oh yeah, they played a different kind of scheme, kind of, don't they? Still had a better year though, even though he probably played way less snaps. Yep. Man, Verse is not playing well. MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence. Any award wins for us? Anything? I didn't see running back. Anything? I mean, I've seen a couple of our names show up, but No actual wins, sadly. But here we are going against the Bengals. I did notice earlier in the year, because I was kind of going week by week to see, if we were going to win or not. And, was also getting Dameon Pierce back, which we ended up getting a 5-year $50 for. We beat the Bengals, I believe. It was a close call, but we did beat them. But can we beat them again? They come out with a touchdown drive. We get down the field, but we just don't score. Driving, nothing again. They drive, they get 3. They get another 3. We get 3 apparently. Start of the second half, another 3. Down by 14 now. Offense has got to do something. They get a touchdown. They get another touchdown. Down by 3 with 3 minutes left. The team has a chance, but it's 3rd and 10. Cooks looks okay. You got to fit that in over top, though. That's a tough one, and there it is. That throw motion is a little disgusting. Bryce Young playing like absolute garbage. And we lose 10 yards on a penalty. They get a little bit of yards back. 3rd and 1 now. Penalty in favor and a touchdown. But giving the Bengals a ton of time here. And with 11 seconds left, no timeouts. Why are you not dropping back? Hello? I'm going to take a little bit of prevent here, if you don't mind. Of course, it's still, even though it's, prevent, and it's not like one person is being covered by one person, even if it's man. Oh, there you go, Stingley, giving us the win, heading us to the divisional round. It is kind of crazy. The third, cornerback on the roster is playing against Jamar manned up, but good job by Stingley. I don't know what kind of, maybe there's like a pitch play they were going to run, maybe pitch it back across the middle. I don't know, but regardless of the matter, we win the game, and we'll be headed to that divisional round. A relentless team that was playing like trash, still kind of finished trashly, but definitely clutched up when they needed it most. Running backs both did well. McIntosh technically better. Receiving, Cole Kmet is their tight end. Not bad. Our tight end did well, too. Sack totals verse, pretty good for once. Oliver, solid. Burns with a half. Interceptions, Stingley had 1. They had 2 different interceptions with their defense. But we're moving on, and they're not. Who are we facing next? It is the Raiders. I believe we did play them again, or as well, in the regular season, but I think we lost to them. Wow, they got Quentin Johnston. That's a good receiving group. The Jaguars won as well, so this could be a very interesting championship round. 7-10. 7-13, nice drive, down by 3, up by 4. Much better start to this game than last week. Looking pretty promising. The Raiders still not out of it, though, and that drive could be enough. It will be. Finally, the offense wakes up and has a more complete game. How bad was Bryce, though, because he's been playing kind of poorly. Not great. McKee, not great either. Rushing, both backs did well. Pierce, a little bit better. He had a bigger run, though, in fairness. Gales was great. Cooks. I see that B Cooks or B Ooks, and it just gets me every time. Sack totals. The DT's going off. That's what I like to see. We take that. Interceptions. Stingley again. Greenwood with a pick and Fowler with a pick. Championship round going against the division rival Jaguars. Did you enjoy your match? I didn't even play the match, bruh. It is the MVP of the league, but at the same time, it is the Jaguars. I know they're probably thinking it is the Texans, but I like our chances. I like them. Come on, Texans. Man, we always give up points out of the gate, but we did get 7. Defense doing an okay job. Offense just needs to score. Up by 4, down by 3. Good hole by the defense right there. But man, this offense needs to wake up. Come on, offense. There you go. Golden opportunity up on... Wow, what even just happened? Did we give up a safety and they get the ball back? Hello? Do y'all mind? Bro, ain't no way this team is that bad. There's no way it's this bad. How? How could it physically possibly ever be this bad? I don't understand. Under trouble, and what a catch by Armstead. I mean, a game-losing, turnover there on downs if we don't get it. Unbelievable. But will it matter? Is we're going to let the AI try to cook again. They're running the ball down. I mean, I get it. You don't want them to have a chance. 2-point conversion is good. And they just give up a huge play right out the gate. Bro! Are you kidding? How is this team so bad? Predetermined outcomes. Petrie with the tackle behind the line. They call the time. Wow, EA, please. Please, what are you doing? I mean, I'll take it because it'll give us a better chance, I guess. But, like, why would they call the timeout? They're clearly going for the win here, game. And there he goes again. Are they gonna? I was about to say, are they gonna call a timeout? Save our last one from us? Patterson on the block. What a disaster of a game, though. Give up 2 25-plus yarders. And then, on top of it, they literally can make us waste both timeouts. They give us one savior of our timeout, which will likely give us a chance at the field goal. I do not understand who codes this game or how they still have a job. This is a risky bounce let. That could be a game-losing decision if you don't get that, you know? This play never works for me, by the way. I don't know why I run this, but I'm going to streak the Cookster. And there goes the tight end. Go down, buddy. Obviously, you have to waste that timeout. 67! Are ye crazy? I don't know what the wind is like, but that would be literally insane. I mean, this is kind of crazy. Cooks gets upfield, gains a few. It's a definite more. So they go from kick the field goal from 67. We get a few more yards, and then they're like, "Nah, bruh, don't even try." What? Like, this time it's a little smarter. We might have to throw this away, but I'm looking at Cooks as an option. Oh, please. Oh, 1 second left. If he would have caught that, we'd have been screwed. Can we kick the field goal now, or did the winds shift again? I don't understand the game. Like, what's the logic? Elliott! Nah! No shot! You can't! The game literally predetermined that. I don't know if I hit it. I mean, I'm who I am, baby. I'm who I am, baby. The timing on that. The timing on that timeout, though. Like, you're having a laugh. Tails never fails, but I'm done. All right, defense, just don't give up an insta-touchdown. That's all I ask. Oh, my God. It's an insta-touchdown. Bro! They literally gave up an instant touchdown. It was like 2 seconds. Although we're getting down the field, too. Oh, my God. 4th and 10. They're going to kick the game-losing field goal. Are you kidding me, EA? Please stop. I don't want to drag players into the danger zone, though. Whatever. We can't get the freaking thing off, dude. Probably on my fault for stepping back too far. Well, that's a bit of a disaster. Well, we're going to do one last season and then call it there. It was still a nice little run. The Houston Texans getting to the championship round is pretty special. Bryce Young been pretty bad in the playoffs, got to admit. McIntosh didn't really have his game that we'd like to see. Kirk, I mean, apparently the greatest wide receiver ever. Trayvon Walker, no pressure from this insane front. And then, of course, Jake Elliott missed a field goal at some point, which probably led to the game-losing situation. We wouldn't have been in overtime. Well, let's see if the Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl or not. The Cowboys, wow, what a match, though. 50-44, is it the greatest freaking Super Bowl ever? Let's take a look. How did this go down? A couple of picks, a couple of rushing touchdowns. Kirk, literally, like I said, the greatest wide receiver ever, apparently. Back-to-back, he put up 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. Back-to-back, 2 games total in the playoffs. Literally the greatest wide receiver of all time. How is this even, what am I, looking at here? Hello? I don't even know what the hell that is, but let's take a look at the dev-ups. If we had any other than Armstead. Armstead did go up in dev. No one else did, sadly, though, but Cooks dropped to an 85. We're still kind of locked in with him. He's still a really good player, though, for his overall, and he'll be the number 3 now going forward as Hardman is, even though he didn't play well, he is definitely, got more potential down the line. And then defensively, Jacobs goes up in dev, and Ed Oliver goes up in dev, which is pretty nice. Logan Wilson seems to be worth keeping around for that extra year. Ed Oliver is not really much of a pass rusher, even though he's got decent sack totals. But I'm glad we got him. You know, he's an 90 block shed, 83 power move, X factor now, which, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that, even for 20 mil per year. But at this point, I mean, it's just another year that we have to hope EA wants to give us the juice. We still had a pretty good season, even though we didn't win it all, and here it is, the final year. I'd still consider it a success. The Houston Texans being able to turn into one of the best teams in the league and get to the championship round is definitely something that I don't know if I see happening in the next half decade like it is happening right now in the game. So we have 114 mil, and sadly, no one to really spend it on. The closest name would probably be Pickens. Don't really need Deron Payne. It's not like we're understaffed, though. I think we've done a really good job in the draft, and overall, we just have a lot of money left over, which, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, it would be nice if there was a big-name guy here that we could sign to like a 1 or a 2 year deal or something and be like, hey, this guy could push us over the edge, which is why we made that trade for Burns in the first place. Maybe we do another trade like that where we, you know, trade for a proven guy that might need a contract soon. Also, could be broke as hell coming up here, so maybe we need the money. Like Oliver, if we're going to re-sign him, is probably going to be, you know, pretty much the same what he's got. Hardman, you maybe let go. Wilson, you probably let go. Burns is at least 10 mil plus more than he wants. I think you give the 5th year option to Bryce, but he's probably worth about 40 plus per. You know, there's some contracts here that definitely will improve. They're going to be costly, but at the same time, we could easily afford everyone as of now. But I think I'm going to look to like protect the future and just save as much money as possible, especially since there's really not anyone here for us. Talking about that 5th year option, Bryce Young, I think you take that, obviously, and, you know, hold off having to pay him way more than the 5th year option. You know, 1 more year. You also have Jeromepkr, who I say you do not do that for because he's, you know, not the highest at dev, not the highest at overall. We can get him back for a lot cheaper than, you know, waiting an extra year. So we end up trading 30, a 3rd next, and a 4th this to the Broncos for 20, which we are going to be taking a fast-looking wide receiver who will probably be the replacement for Hardman. Not that maybe we'll see it because we usually only do 5 years, but we'll see. But he looks really good. This running back also looks pretty good, but obviously that's just not the positional need right now. He looks pretty damn solid himself, but it's a first-rounder, so I wouldn't even grab him anyways. But Jerry Toller, B's across the board, 6 foot tall, 22 years old, very fast. Jumping could be a little bit better, but he is a pretty elite-looking talent other than, you know, maybe the medium route. But everything else looks really solid, and the fact that he's insanely fast tells me that he is worth the pick. So, Jerry Toller, maybe the future replacement for Hardman. Wow, 99 speed, 98 excel. Depending on his overall, maybe we actually trade Hardman, like, after the draft. We trade Medlock and pick 62 to the Dolphins for 33, which we will be using to grab a linebacker. A little risky, but don't really need that tight end anyways. He was just the backup regardless. And, yeah, where is my middle linebacker? Jose Hayward, he's not crazy great, but he's got a lot of Bs, a couple of As, and obviously he's a very fast athlete, so going to grab him. I don't think he'll be the starting linebacker this year, but Logan Wilson, once he's gone, have that replacement set up. And normal development trait. All right, so kind of an awful, terrible decision. And we're going to move it to the 7th round as we fully Ramsed it. Wow, it takes a long time to get to, from the start of the 2nd round to the end of the 7th, believe it or not. And we're going to go this really awful but fast wide receiver row, 95 speed, 92 excel, 23 on top of it, and his catching and route running was like awful. But you know what? Here we are. That's all I can say. Here we are. 78 overall wide receiver, 72 middle linebacker. He's okay, and then row is terrible. But Toller, obviously the prize of this one with the super speed, solid release, you know, injury, toughness, stamina, not great to be fair. Catching's decent. Route running other than deep is, you know, definitely lacking, but obviously you have yourself the replacement for Hardman, the way cheaper replacement. Sadly, only star them. All right, here it is, the team for the final season, no matter what, as the team is pretty much the best it's going to get. Toller is great for the future, but as of right now, you know, you're replacing Hardman with, you know, basically another Hardman. Gales is definitely going to keep getting better, I suppose, but, you know, you are going to lose guys like Cooks. You're going to lose guys like Logan Wilson, you know, Ed Oliver, Jamel Dean. They're not going to be that great forever, specifically Jamel Dean. I mean, this season, at most, another season, at the very most, would be the best. But this is definitely the best depth team we're going to have. So we're hoping that this is the team. Obviously, we made it to the championship, close to a Super Bowl, and maybe we can get over the hump. If not, I still think it's a success. As long as we make the playoffs this year. We have to do that, but as long as we do that, we should be good. 152 mil. This is a little bit of sadness, but also a little bit of fun. Let's try to get Brian Burns on a 3-year 70. Really? You need more? Really? I guess maybe. Ed Oliver, he's 28. I mean, I feel like 32 is fine, and the money he's asking for is pretty cheap compared to what we actually had to pay for him to get him here. Chark, Carter, these guys are all backups anyways, and here's some juice. Freeland, he's a superstar. You never let a superstar lineman go, so a 7-year 130. Why not? Glad we got the deal done. Oh, sure, I guess. I'm glad too. We're not broke or anything. Obviously, Logan Wilson's going to be gone. Jarrett Patterson. Let's get our guy to a 5-year 65. Glad to keep you on. 87 mil left. While losing... Oh, Justin Jacobs cannot be let into the free market. We cannot allow him to go. Nice. Still looking pretty good, even though we have a couple more names. Seems like we have about 4 more names. This isn't getting dicey at all. Promise. Longer. What? I offered him a 6-year deal. Verse, I think you actually let go, to be fair. And then Dexter, I don't want to go too crazy with him, even though he's younger, which, don't clip that out of context. 4-year 35, why not? And we've got 58 mil left. You know, the money's not infinite, believe it or not. Do you maybe pay Bass as well, and then everyone else is like, see you later? 4-year 45 for Bass. 48 mil left to work with. You have to pay Brian Burns a little bit more. You have to pay, Antonio Johnson a little bit more. It'll be close, but I think we'll be fine. Let's see if we're in the playoffs. We are, of course, with the perfect ending to a video, not in the playoffs as the best team in the league, with also the best depth in the league, because this game isn't good. Of course, I changed the playbook 3 different times because we were struggling. It seemed like Atlanta was probably the best as we won 5 of our last 6, but ultimately we made the changes too late. All the way up to here is where we ran the Chiefs playbook. Here through, I think here is where I ran, what did I run? Tampa, maybe? And then the rest was Atlanta, pretty much, and yeah, super fun stuff. Also, Brian Burns decided he didn't want to stick around anymore, and he wanted to go free agency. A 3-year 90 or 82 wasn't enough, so we would just end up tagging him for less long-term anyways, or similar anyways. Bryce Young, nearly maybe an MVP season, yet couldn't make the playoffs. I love this game. It's the greatest I've ever seen. It is the greatest game of all time. Not even just sports games, just ever. Really, just the greatest ever. Of course, this insane pass rush unit I wouldn't maybe say insane, but Burns and Oliver are solid. They put up pretty great numbers throughout. And Burns and Oliver are really not playing well here. Dexter and Verse, decent, I guess. Picks were terrible. Kicking was great, at least. Jake Elliott really came through for us, but sadly, the rest of the team didn't. I don't really care if we would have won any awards or not, but I'm curious, I suppose, to take a look. Yeah, that's a mad L, dude. We finished with a playoff loss because of the way this game is made. Before we actually go, so there's probably some morale drops. I'll tell you what, there definitely aren't any morale bonuses on the team. Maybe there are, actually. I guess I'm wrong. But overall, we would obviously have less morale boosts because we did not make the playoffs than most teams. But either way, I'm curious to see what the highest overalls across the board are. I can't imagine there's any team over a 90. It'd be surprised maybe if there's a team at 90. The Ravens at 92. I was about to say, wow, that team's good. Oh, yeah, it's us. Team that didn't make the playoffs. The Bills at 90. Buccaneers at 91. Chiefs at 92. There's this weird trend where, the teams that are actually pretty good overalls are the teams that make the playoffs and kind of win. But we just don't get that privilege because I guess because we're the Texans, it's just, who cares? But you know what? Let's still end up watching this out. Let's go to the Super Bowl. take a look at who wins it, take a look at our DevUps, and overall just take a look at how the team developed in general. The Vikings and the Chargers in the Super Bowl, with the Vikings winning their first ever Super Bowl championship. I don't know why I said Super Bowl champion, just Super Bowl. Just keep it simple. Gales is an X Factor. Obviously, Armstead already was an X Factor. Cooks is kind of the point where you really can't even play anymore, but yeah, Gales is kind of a god. 87 medium route, and he's, what, 23, 24 years old? He has been great. Let's take a look at any of DevUps on defense. Seems like Jacobs went up in Dev, and that was pretty much it. But let's take a look at the offensive players, go back to them real quick. Armstead, the guy that, we kind of grabbed to just be maybe a replacement for Hardman/Cooks at some point, and he ended up becoming, like, the best receiver on the team. Deep route sucks, medium, could be a little bit better, but overall, he is a beast. He's like Michael Pittman, maybe like Michael Thomas if he was faster and didn't get injured. Let's take a look at, I don't really care too much about Hardman, to be honest. He's usually about an 87-ish overall. Bryce Young, great accuracies all across the board. Play action's a little low, but everything's in the 90s. I mean, damn near close to MVP, last couple of seasons. Dameon Pierce has been pretty tame, but still good. 97 trucking, 93 stiff arm, solid speed and excel, and overall, solid player. Freeland, who shot up in overall, is power blocking's really good. His finesse blocking, not so much. Really good run block, regular. Solid player, superstar dev, obviously. Let's take a look at Mr. Bass, the guy that we ended up paying as well. Really good pass block. Everything else sucks. I would say, maybe that's the reason why we don't win in Sim all the time, but that's how literally everyone, all the AIs, develop their guys, because obviously I let the AI develop our guys, because once again, for the billionth time, it would take way too long to do rebuilds if you manually dev'd everyone up. Of course, Adrian White, also a superstar. Really good finesse blockers. They develop all the interior guys as finesse, all the freaking tackles and whatnot as, power, which is stupid. Obviously, Tunsil's not someone we develop, but I'm just kind of seeing, how good he still is, which is pretty good. Then we move to defense. Justin Jacobs, X Factor 90 overall now with a 99 tackle, giving me Jordan Brooks vibes here, but a little bit faster. Obviously an X Factor, which is filthy. What else do we have? Greenwood, he never really had a chance to develop. But Antonio Johnson, I'm kind of curious about. 88 overall. Zone coverage really go up. Man coverage did. I don't understand why all of these players are always developed like idiots, dude. Just get his zone coverage up and call it a day. What are we doing? Petrie obviously was a guy that did have that happen. Thankfully, he's a decent overall, obviously. What else for defense? Jamel Dean's not someone we really developed ourselves. 90 overall for him. 89 for Stingley, who's obviously a sick man corner. Would really love to see that zone jump, but so far has not been the case. Let's take a look at Oliver. We do see him go up in dev and overall quite a bit, quite often, but still curious. He's about the same as last year, pretty much. Von Dexter, obviously the power move guy, 90 power moves. He had, multiple different types of players on the D-line. And then the last man, Jared Verse, who obviously is solid, but just really never played well. I don't know if it's traits, size, what it is. Because it's not the playbooks, I don't think. Some players have it, some players don't. Verse apparently is one of the players that does not have it. I don't know how, but just the way it is, and unfortunately, that's a guy we took. I actually want to see real quick how O'Shawn Mathis finished out. So Mathis really didn't develop too much since we left him over there, and they apparently have not really used him too much. Nice, way to go, way to waste a player. But regardless, that is going to be it for our Houston Texans realistic style rebuild. There was some success, there was a really good team building process, but ultimately EA gets the nod. Look at the team ranks. How is this team that good, yet that bad? That makes no sense. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. And yeah, maybe follow me on Twitter, Jeromepkr, second channel PKR Plays. Don't know if this is a Wednesday or a Thursday upload, but regardless, no upload on Friday, I suppose, would be my message. and multiple uploads on Saturday. That's about it, though. If you guys have any challenge ideas for rebuilds or anything, you want to see more blasts in the past, I haven't done that many this year because they weren't really, people weren't really feeling them, it seems. Any experiment ideas, whatever, let me know in the comment section below. And that is it. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!